Revealed miraculous insights. The divine journey of an old soul's sacred purpose over 40 days, in the hushed corners of St. Michael's Chapel. Something extraordinary was about to unfold, a divine mystery waiting to be revealed. Pastor Tom, a humble shepherd of faith in his quaint English village, believed his heart was stirring for a sacred purpose that would change everything. Each evening, under the blessed watch of their patron saint, whispers of heaven seemed to echo through the flickering candlelight, promising miracles and renewal beyond comprehension. Pastor Tom had experienced this stirring while kneeling in fervent prayer, the soft wood of the pew pressing into his knees as crimson light wilted into dusk. Suddenly, visions gripped him. A chorus of angels sang, their wings brushing the congregation with ethereal grace. He sensed a call, not just for himself but for all within his community, leading them into a 40-day journey steeped in faith and divine encounters. That first evening, the air felt thick with anticipation. As Pastor Tom led the prayer, the warmth of the congregation's voices intertwined like a sacred tapestry. Then came the first miraculous moment. An elderly gentleman, burdened by years of grief over a lost spouse, stood up, filled with a wave of warmth that radiated from the altar. He shared how he had felt her presence beside him, comforting him as eternity's fabric unraveled in the embrace of divine compassion. Gasps filled the chapel, and the very walls seemed to hum with joy as the days unfurled. Stories of healing swept through the village like wildfire. A young boy who had been mute for years suddenly lifted his voice in song during a prayer gathering, sending shivers of awe through those present. "He speaks!" exclaimed a mother, tears cascading down her cheeks. The chapel became a beacon of hope, where lost souls found light while praises echoed in sincerity. But with the dawn of new miracles arose shadows of doubt. Deeper skepticism brewed among a few members of the congregation who questioned if these were mere coincidences. Was it the power of belief, or something truly divine? Conflicts arose, raising voices in tension that rent the unity Pastor Tom cherished. Seeking clarity, he pressed onward, reminding everyone that faith often breeds trials, but miracles emerge through persistence and vulnerability. Just as despair crept into fragile hearts, a tragedy rocked their insular world. A beloved community member was gravely injured in an accident. Faces fell, attendance dwindled amidst grief and uncertainty. Pastor Tom, desperate to address the growing dismay, sought worldly solutions. Community events, social media posts, all seemingly lost in the vastness of a world that increasingly turned from faith. Just when darkness threatened to eclipse hope, a pivotal evening arrived during a prayer circle. There was a stillness, a thick breath of divine presence, as Pastor Tom led them into prayer. In that sacred moment, something extraordinary happened. An unmistakable spark from heaven. A young mother, once cursed with chronic pain, was suddenly enveloped in an inexplicable aura of grace. She rose, stretching out her hands as a sacred hush enveloped the chapel, her voice no longer burdened. "I am healed," she proclaimed, her words shattering the silence like a crystal bell. "Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue." The miracle spread through the room, igniting the ember of belief in every heart until faith crackled like a roaring fire. Pastor Tom gazed upon his congregation, now alight with hope, wondering, would this miracle be the spark that rekindled unwavering faith, or would lingering doubt overshadow their newfound joy? As starlight peeked through stained glass, he felt the weight of their collective journey resting heavily on his shoulders. The path still steep ahead. The night air vibrated with anticipation, leaving him anxious yet resolute. What revelations awaited them on this sacred journey? As dawn broke over St. Michael's Chapel, a peaceful hush settled upon the village. The new day felt different, charged with the energy of possibility. Pastor Tom awoke with a profound sense of purpose. He couldn't shake the feeling that the miraculous events of the previous evening were only the beginning. Gathering with his congregation for their morning prayer, he looked into their expectant faces. The warmth of the previous night's healing still lingered, like a sweet fragrance lingering in the air. Hearts, once heavy with sorrow and doubt, were beginning to swell with renewed faith. He felt grateful for the strength that radiated from them, each spirit emboldened by the touch of the divine. Today, he began, his voice strong yet tender. We stand together on the brink of something extraordinary. The congregation leaned in closer, an unspoken bond pulsing between them. We will embrace not just the blessings that come our way, but also the challenges. For it is in trials that our faith is truly tested and revealed. A murmur of agreement rippled through the assembly, heads nodding, eyes glistening with understanding. Pastor Tom sensed an awakening, a collective yearning for deeper faith, a need for something that would knit them closer with God and each other as they prayed together, sharing their hopes and fears. A spirit of connection swelled in the air. It felt as if heaven itself had descended among them, alive and vibrant, weaving an intricate tapestry of love and support. Pastor Tom noticed a woman in the back, unfamiliar yet radiant, observing quietly. Her presence felt magnetic, pulling at the strings of his heart. Dear Lord, he prayed, open our hearts to the new paths you lay before us. Help us to be vessels for your love and healing. At that moment, the atmosphere shifted. There was a stillness, a pause, as if time itself honored their plea. A soft light flooded through the stained glass, casting colors that ignited the air with joy. The mysterious woman stepped forward, her face aglow with faith like a beacon in the midst of shadows. I've traveled far, she spoke, her voice clear yet gentle. I felt the calling to come here, to this sacred gathering. God sent me to share a message, a reminder of his relentless love. Gasps echoed within the chapel. The room buzzed with energy and curiosity. Pastor Tom was spellbound, entranced by the beauty of this moment. What is the message? Someone whispered reverently. She smiled, her eyes shimmering with compassion. That our struggles serve a purpose. Every trial is a thread in the tapestry of his divine plan. Trust that each moment, even those steeped in sorrow, births growth, awakening, and greater understanding of his love. Compassion bubbled in the hearts of those listening. Each of their stories flickered to life in their minds. The mother who lost a child, the doubting man whose grief felt insurmountable, the boy who thought his silence was eternal, all began to see their struggles as part of an intricate, divine design. Pastor Tom felt a stirring within him. Could this be an opportunity to initiate deeper healing? He gathered his thoughts, sensing the wheels of change turning. Perhaps now was the time to invite the villagers into something profoundly transformative. As the woman continued sharing her insights, he felt a spark of inspiration. A radical idea blossomed in his heart. What if they organized a day of sanctification? A gathering where each person could lay bare their struggles, share their stories, and pray together? But as excitement built in him, doubts lingered at the edges of his thoughts. Could this vulnerable openness truly lead to healing? Would his community embrace such raw honesty? With new determination, Pastor Tom approached the mysterious woman, grateful for her presence. Will you stay and help us, sister? Your words have given us hope. I am here to guide you, she replied, her serene expression promising support. As the congregation began to discuss the possibilities, the chapel buzzed with enthusiasm. Pastor Tom glanced up at the beautiful stained glass, light streaming through, casting colors that danced around him. What awaits us beyond this moment? He pondered silently, the sense of divine mystery enveloping him once more. It was clear now. The journey ahead was not just about miracles but deeper understanding, connection, and perhaps even transformation. What revelations would emerge from this gathering? Would their collective faith shift the very foundations of their lives? The answers were close as the lingering prayers woven in that sacred space. The whispers in the chapel grew louder, enthusiasm seeping into every crack and crevice. Pastor Tom could feel the electricity in the air, a palpable shift in the atmosphere. It was as if the very walls of St. Michael's Chapel had come alive with anticipation. Wrapping around the congregation like a warm embrace, he turned towards the mysterious woman, who stood serenely at the front, radiating grace. "What more can you share? How do we begin this journey together?" His heart swelled with eagerness and hope, yearning for the light of understanding that he believed was now within reach. She met his gaze with eyes that held centuries of wisdom. "Every journey begins with a single step. Each of you carries within you a story woven from moments of joy and despair, love and loss. It is time to uncover those stories, for it is in sharing that healing takes root." The congregation fell into a thoughtful silence, each member reflecting on their past. Pastor Tom felt a stirring within. This was more than just an idea, it was an invitation to delve into their collective human experience. It was an opportunity to find the divine not only in triumphs but also in heartaches. "Let us not shy away from our pain," he urged. "Let us embrace it. It shapes us, it molds our faith. These stories, these trials, they connect us to one another and to God. They remind us that we are never truly alone." Encouragement filled the room, gentle murmurs of agreement resonating in the air. The woman smiled, clearly touched by the spirit unfolding around them. "Share your stories, dear friends. Let them bloom like flowers in the divine garden of faith." Pastor Tom took a deep breath, wrestling with vulnerability himself. "I will begin," he offered, his voice steady yet soft, "with my own tale." As he unfolded the events of his life, the struggles with doubt, the trials of leading a community, the seasons of darkness, he sensed tears forming, not of sorrow, but of liberation. Each word felt like a key unlocking a door within their hearts. Around him, others felt the invitation to step forward. One by one, stories unfolded from friends who once carried burdens in silence. A grieving father shared the heartbreak of losing his son, the shock still fresh. A young mother spoke of her anxiety, a weight she feared would crush her spirit. Each voice wove an exhilarating tapestry of shared existence, binding them all together in a profound revelation. And amidst this sacred exchange, the warm glow of healing began to envelop their souls. A lightness filled the chapel, and Pastor Tom could see it in their faces, the release of tension, the softening of guarded hearts. There was an unmistakable presence of the Holy Spirit, like a gentle breeze that swept through, refreshing and illuminating. As the woman observed, her expression was one of deep encouragement. "This is merely the beginning," she said, her voice smooth like a quiet stream. "Embrace this moment. With each story shared, you strengthen not just your bond with one another but also with the divine." Finally, when the ambience felt heavy with unshed tears and buoyant with joy, Pastor Tom felt compelled to pray. The congregation bowed their heads, the energy in the chapel thick with expectation. "Lord, guide us in these 39 days ahead," he prayed, his heart vulnerable before the gathered spirits. "Help us heal through our stories. May we find strength in our unity, and let us discover your purpose in every whispered narrative." As they opened their eyes, they felt different. There was courage in their hearts, determination in their spirits, and a flicker of hope that inspired smiles all around. The mysterious woman's presence felt even more potent, as if she was a sentry of divine transformation. "Remember," she added softly, "do not be afraid of the challenges that lie ahead. Each obstacle is an opportunity dressed in the fabric of trials." Pastor Tom looked at his congregation, feeling an immense warmth radiating from all around. "Together, we will grow deeper in faith, discovering God's miracles threaded through our shared experiences." Yet, as the day turned to evening, a question lingered in the back of his mind. What awaited them at the end of this profound journey? Would they truly find the peace and understanding they sought? Or were there trials ahead that could shake their newfound resolve? The chapel enveloped in twilight, the flickering candles cast dancing shadows against the stone walls. Pastor Tom could feel the anticipation linger like the scent of incense, reminding him of the sacred space they were in. Silence, profound and reverent, settled over the congregation again, each heart beating in synchrony, resonating with the unspoken energy of shared purpose. The mysterious woman moved closer to the altar, her presence radiating an aura of calm confidence. As you stand at the threshold of this journey, know that even darkness has its role. It is often through shadows that we discern the light more clearly. Pastor Tom's heart quickened. What does that mean for us? How can shadows serve a purpose? His inquiry, honest and direct, echoed in the affectionate silence. She smiled gently, her warmth enveloping everyone. Consider this. Each struggle is a teacher, each trial a lesson. Your shadows will illuminate the path to deeper understanding. In those moments of despair, remember, the Spirit is with you, guiding and whispering lessons of hope. He sensed a yearning in the room for clarity. The congregation leaned closer, drawn into the mystery within her words. Go ahead, she encouraged. Bring forth the burdens that shadow your light. Let them be the threads that weave a transformative tapestry, a miraculous journey of becoming. One by one, courage swelled within the hearts of the congregation, prompting another round of testimonies. An elderly woman, her voice trembling yet resolute, spoke of a life consumed with regret for sins long past. I once believed I was unworthy of love, she revealed, her voice growing steadier. But now I see that in my brokenness, God's grace has woven the most beautiful masterwork. A wave of emotion washed over the listeners, uniting them in compassion and understanding. A young man, seated at the back, his eyes glistening, took a leap of faith. I battled addiction for years. The darkness felt overpowering. But through community and faith, I've begun to find freedom with each new sunrise. There's a glimmer of hope rising every day. As each story unfolded, the chapel pulsed with vibrancy. The very air thickened with hope, healing, and the promise of transformation. Each confession drew them closer, binding them in invisible threads of faith and shared experience. The woman observed with a delight that whispered the mysteries of the heavens. Look around you, feel the bond that is being forged. In your collective vulnerability, there exists a divine strength. Together, you are stronger than any challenge that looms. Pastor Tom's heart surged with renewed faith. He sensed the wisdom in her words, realizing how interconnected their journeys were. In these moments, we are reminded, he added, gesturing gently to those gathered, that we are not merely individuals walking our own paths, but rather a collective, enriched by our shared stories. Just then, a faint glow began cascading through the chapel's stained glass windows. Colors sparkled like jewels, bathing the congregation in warmth and radiance. Gasps of awe rippled through those present, turning their faces to the ethereal light pouring in. Open your hearts wide, the woman urged, her tone inviting. The divine spirit desires to descend upon you now, infusing your lives with clarity and insight. Embrace this moment. As the light bathed them, tears flowed freely, smiles broke through solemnity, and hearts synchronized in an outpouring of grace. In that sacred moment, boundaries dissolved, and a single thought shimmered within every mind and spirit. They were one, each story of pain, joy, and awakening, a thread woven into a divine tapestry. Yet, even amid this blissful communion, Pastor Tom felt a stirring question rise within him. As their stories continued to unfold, what lay ahead? Beyond the 39 days? Would they discover a glimpse of the divine that could alter their souls forever? That anticipation lingered in the air, igniting curiosity in their hearts as they stepped into the unknown, ready to embrace whatever awaited them. As the golden light flowed through the stained glass, it felt like a divine blessing, a warm embrace wrapping around every soul present. Pastor Tom stood at the altar, his heart swelling as he gazed at the faces before him. Each one reflected a journey, a battle fought, a wound healed. In that moment, he understood that this was not merely about the next 39 days. It was about an ongoing awakening. The mysterious woman stepped back, allowing the shimmering light to shine more freely upon the congregation. This is just the beginning of your transformation, she announced, her voice calm yet compelling. You are being called to deeper realizations about your purpose. Embrace it. With those words, the room seemed to resonate in harmony, a melodic echo of encouragement. Pastor Tom felt the weight of his own questions rise to the surface. Did they fully grasp the profound opportunity before them? He glanced at the elderly woman whose testimony had pierced through the silence with grace. You shared how Goddess grace changed your view of brokenness, he said gently. Can we also lean into our collective shadows during this journey? Her eyes sparkled with wisdom. Indeed, Pastor, she replied. It's in recognizing our flaws, our failures, that we uncover the fullness of His love. It's a sacred dance acknowledging pain while seeking joy. Nods of agreement swept through the crowd. Pastor Tom turned to the young man in the back, who had spoken about addiction. And what of your struggles? How can they strengthen our journey together? The young man stood taller, the light enveloping him. I realized I'm not just a survivor. I'm a voice for others. When we share our scars, we help someone else find their way. Together we can offer hope. The congregation hung on every word, their hearts beating with newfound purpose. Pastor Tom felt an incredible surge of passion. In the divine narrative, our stories interlace, he proclaimed. The beauty of your gifts lies in the sharing, the healing, the light that emerges from the darkness. The mysterious woman gazed at each person, her presence oracular. Miracles are not just found in large events. They awaken in small moments of surrender, she said. Each of you has been called here for a purpose beyond your understanding. As her words settled in the air, a gentle wind swept through the chapel, rustling the leaves of the potted plants, carrying the scent of lavender and hope. It was a sign, perhaps a whisper from the Spirit confirming their gathering was more than happenstance. Pastor Tom closed his eyes, focused on the pulsing energy of the room. He sensed a wave of divine peace wash over him. In vulnerability lies strength. In honesty lies truth, he spoke softly, feeling the warmth of souls uniting in faith. And in our shared journey, we will uncover miraculous insights. Just then, without warning, a piercing light erupted from the altar, momentarily blinding them all. Gasps filled the room as eyes widened in awe. What was happening now? I sense something significant is on the horizon, Pastor Tom declared, his voice wavering between trepidation and excitement. The woman's gaze met his with an intensity that made him shiver. What will this day reveal? What transformation awaits when we give ourselves fully to the call? In that collective hush, their breaths mingled in anticipation, hearts racing at the unknown that lay ahead. The atmosphere shimmered with divine expectancy. Somehow, they knew that their shared journey wasn't just about healing. It was about uncovering the miraculous purpose woven into their very souls. What new revelations would this journey unlock? Would they truly find the light amid their shadows? The question hung like ripe fruit just waiting to be plucked, awaiting the fullness of divine discovery. The radiant light pulsed with energy, illuminating every crease in the wood, every reflection on the polished floor. Pastor Tom felt his heart racing. What was this magic? The mysterious woman remained quiet, as if waiting for the stillness to hold them a little longer, shaping the moment into something more. One by one, the congregation began to stir. A soft murmur filled the air as whispers of wonder floated between them. The elderly woman, sealed with a gentle smile, raised her hands slightly, inviting the fresh flow of the Holy Spirit. This light calls us to share, she said, her voice like a soothing balm amidst the tension. Let us not be afraid to speak what lays heavy in our hearts. Encouraged by her example, others began to share. One by one, stories unfolded. A father spoke of his struggle to forgive himself after losing his way. A young girl shared her dreams of helping others overcome their fears, glimmering like sparks in her eyes. Each voice was a thread in a beautiful tapestry that wove through the air, connecting their spirits. Pastor Tom stepped forward again, sensing the Spirit guiding him. God uses our struggles to shape our purpose, he affirmed, feeling the truth resonate. Every pain has a gift. Every sorrow speaks of hope. What if, by sharing our stories, we ignite a torch for someone else's path? His words hung over the congregation, igniting flickers of light in their eyes. It was as if a curtain was lifting, revealing hidden depths of courage within them. The mysterious woman, watching intently, seemed to swell with pride. You see, the heart is a mighty vessel. It holds lessons forged through fire, but also the key to liberation. You are not just recipients of love. You are its messengers. The room erupted with affirmations. Hands were raised, gripping the air above them as if to draw down the light. Each face glimmered with newfound faith. Pastor Tom felt the power of their collective honesty washing over him. It was a moment of divine intersection where the ordinary met the extraordinary. But then, amidst the warmth, a shadow flickered at the edge of his consciousness. What of those who feel they have no story? He asked, the words tumbling out before he could retract them. What do we say to those still grappling with silence? Gasps echoed throughout the room. A stillness settled once again, like the calm before a storm. The mysterious woman met his gaze with understanding. Every silence has a weight, dear pastor. We must never forget the unspoken heartaches. A young woman stepped forward hesitantly, tears brimming in her eyes. I feel lost, she whispered, the courage flickering like a candle in the breeze. I want to believe I have a purpose, but it feels so distant. Tenderness welled within Pastor Tom as he stepped closer to her, offering a reassuring presence. Sometimes your journey begins in surrender. Trust that every ache can be transformed into strength. Storytelling isn't the only way to shine. Your mere existence, your search, is a testament to Goddess grace. As Pastor Tom spoke, the air thickened with a palpable presence, wrapping them all in divine empathy, where silence felt like a comforting hand. They closed their eyes, unified in a shared moment of reflection. The light around them began to shimmer again, strengthening, as though it were gathering its grace to reveal something deeper. What might emerge from their ongoing journey? What gifts lay dormant beneath their silences? The question lingered exquisitely in the air, inviting more revelations. Each heart beat as one, vibrating with the infinite potential that awaited them just beyond the horizon. As the shimmering light enveloped them, a gentle breeze swept through the sanctuary, whispering secrets only the heart could understand. The young woman, still trembling with vulnerability, found comfort in the presence surrounding her. Pastor Tom felt a shift within himself, urging him to guide them deeper into this sacred moment. Let us take a breath together, he suggested, raising his hands slightly. Inhaling, we draw in his love, and exhaling, we release our doubts. The congregation followed suit, inhaling in unison, a wave of serenity washing over them. The mysterious woman watched, her eyes reflecting the glow of the light, and it stirred something within her. She stepped forward, her voice smooth and resonant. When we share our burdens, we shed the weights that bind us. Each sigh, each breath is an invitation for healing. With every heartbeat, whispers of hope filled the space. Voices began to join together, a harmonious chorus of yearning and faith, lifting higher into the air. It was as if the shadows of doubt melted away under the light, revealing fragments of joy long hidden. A man stood up, vulnerability painted across his face. I've struggled with my past, shame that feels like a stone. But tonight I want to let it go, if even for a moment. His admission echoed, resonating within the souls of others. An elderly gentleman nodded sagely, his voice rich with wisdom. Shame is but a cloak we can choose to shed. It does not define us. We are reborn in every moment we decide to be authentic. A ripple of energy surged through the congregation. Pastor Tom felt the weight of their shared heaviness and the simultaneous lightness of spirit. Look around you, he urged them gently. Every story intertwines with others, turning moments of despair into testimonies of triumph. You carry the light in your hearts, and by sharing it, you illuminate the path for those still wandering in darkness. The sacred space filled with murmurs of affirmation, a symphony of souls awakening. Eyes shone as if they had caught fire, igniting a fervor of belief. The woman remained observant, a knowing smile gracing her lips. Just then, a quiet childish voice cut through the admiration. But what if the light goes out? What if we can't keep shining? The room took a collective breath, the air thick with potential. Pastor Tom turned to the child, kneeling before her. Ah, but dear one, the light can never truly go out. It flickers, yes, and sometimes it dims. Life can be hard. His heart warmed to see the understanding grow in her eyes. But every spark, no matter how small, is enough to start a fire. Always remember, God has placed a spark within you that cannot die. The young girl nodded, a quiet determination settling on her face as her eyes brightened. The light began to twist in beautiful ways, dancing in a rhythm that felt almost celestial. It twisted and curled, revealing shadows of possibilities yet to come. Each presence in that room was infused with an energy that was palpable, a divine connection humming in the air. Pastor Tom then turned toward the mysterious woman. What is it that we should look for next? What must we understand to grow even closer to this light? She smiled, an enigmatic glimmer in her eyes. Every journey has steps yet to be taken, dear friends. Each of you carries a piece of the divine puzzle. But only in seeking together will you grasp the full picture. Are you ready to uncover the deeper truths hidden within? The question reverberated, echoing like the sound of a distant bell, summoning them to greater understanding. What lay ahead in this spiritual pilgrimage? Where would the next steps take them? Hearts quickened with anticipation, the future holding mysteries just beyond their reach. As the echoes of the woman's words filled the room, a palpable stillness enveloped the congregation. Time seemed to stand still, and for a brief moment, the outside world faded away. It was as if they stood on the precipice of discovery, each heart beating in rhythm with the divine beckoning that hung in the air. Pastor Tom straightened, feeling a warmth spread from his chest. What if we took this opportunity to share our journeys? He proposed, looking around at the eager faces before him. Perhaps by revealing our truths, we can understand more about these deeper mysteries together. The congregation nodded, a collective willingness to dive deeper into the waters of their souls. A young mother, her hands trembling slightly, stood up, her voice soft yet firm. I've been carrying the weight of fear of not being enough as a parent, as a person. I want to trust that I'm not alone in this. Her words struck a chord within the community. Slowly, others began to rise, one by one like flowers blooming in the sun. A teenager, his brow furrowed in contemplation, shared his battle with loneliness. Sometimes, I feel like I'm invisible, even when I'm surrounded by people. Each revelation acted like a key, unlocking hidden doors within the hearts of the listeners. The air filled with tears and laughter alike, as souls connected in their struggles. The mysterious woman observed with a knowing smile, the light around her flickering in approval. With each shared burden, Pastor Tom sensed a palpable change. Let us remember, he encouraged, that in these moments of vulnerability, we find strength. In sharing our struggles, we become threads in a tapestry, weaving together our collective hope. The elderly gentleman from before stood again, his voice steady and full of assurance. Each story here tonight is a candle illuminated by the Spirit. Some may flicker, but together, we create a radiant glow that pierces through the darkness. As they exchanged stories, the mysterious woman stepped closer, her presence almost ethereal. Sometimes the questions we carry are the very answers others need, she said, her voice like a soft breeze. What if your pain was meant to help another? What if what you hold inside is a treasure waiting to shine light into someone else's life? The room grew still, every heart absorbing her wisdom. It felt as if the weight within them lightened, the burden shared, allowing breaths of relief to surface. A soft commotion caught Pastor Tom's attention as the child from earlier, emboldened by the atmosphere, shouted, "What if I want to find my light, but I don't know where to start?" Laughter and murmurs of agreement rippled through the crowd. Pastor Tom, moved by her innocence, knelt to her level once more. Starts right here, my dear. Simply asking is the first step toward your light. Every question you ask can take you closer. As they spoke, the light began to swirl once more, this time taking on shapes of vivid colors, like a celestial painting being created before their eyes. Pastor Tom felt a pang of excitement and wonder. These stories are creating the light we see. Remember, within your questions lie seeds of wisdom. The congregation absorbed this truth, hearts swelling with newfound possibilities. The mysterious woman's eyes twinkled, and she folded her hands over her chest. "Will you all commit to seeking together?" she asked, her voice like a sacred incantation. "There is power when hearts unite, embarking on a quest to unveil the layers of your light. What awaits you in this journey? What divine truths remain buried yet to be uncovered?" Awestruck silence wrapped around them again, leaving the next steps a mystery pregnant with hope. Pastor Tom could sense the anticipation vibrating in the air. He glanced at the faces around him, warmth in their smiles and determination in their eyes. Whatever lay ahead, they would face it together, and he knew with certainty that they were on the brink of something magnificent. What miraculous insights might they discover on this collective journey? As the congregation sat, wrapped in a blanket of shared vulnerability, the air buzzed with expectation. It felt as if each heartbeat marked the rhythm of a divine drum, calling them deeper into this sacred space. Pastor Tom, emboldened by the light swirling around him, looked at the mysterious woman, her presence a quiet affirmation that they were in the right place at the right time. With a heart full of gratitude, Pastor Tom said, "Let us continue this sharing. The more we expose, the more we heal. Who else would like to share?" A man in his 50s, his hands rough from years of labor, rose slowly. His eyes held a sadness that belied his strong exterior. "I've spent so many years chasing after success. I've built a business, but I've lost my peace. I want to know if I was meant for something more." Pastor Tom nodded, recognizing the depth of the man's search. "What if your journey has already been a path of purpose? What if every struggle has prepared you for this moment?" The man looked down, processing the words as if they were seeds dropping into the soil of his soul. The warmth enveloping him felt nurturing, coaxing his heart into bloom. The mysterious woman then stepped forward, her luminous aura casting a gentle glow upon the congregation. "In seeking what lies within, remember to celebrate your scars," she said softly, her voice like a lullaby. "They speak of battles fought and lessons learned. In your imperfections lies great beauty and purpose." One by one, more voices joined in. Stories of heartache, triumph, longing, and hope filled the room like sweet incense, rising higher and higher, each one becoming a note in a divine symphony. A girl with bright eyes spoke of her struggles with faith. "Sometimes I doubt, I want to believe, but my heart feels heavy. How do I trust when I can't see?" "Doubt can be a faithful companion," Pastor Tom replied, his voice soothing. "It invites us to discover deeper truths. It's okay to explore your questions, for therein lies the promise of growth. Trust begins with a simple desire to seek." As they spoke, the colors in the room brightened, swirling in a divine dance. The crowd was absorbing the unity, the essence of being alive in this moment together, an orchestra of faith playing in harmony. The mysterious woman glanced around, her eyes like twin stars teasing the dark. "You each bring a unique melody to this gathering. Is it not the imperfections in music that create the most profound experiences?" With each revelation shared, something extraordinary began to unfold. A sense of lightness grew, lifting them higher as they journeyed through their collective truths. Each individual echoed the other's struggles and desires, forming a sacred bond that shimmered with divine light. But what if a timid voice interrupted, slicing through the joyous atmosphere? It was the child again. "What if we find our lights, but don't know what to do with them?" Pastor Tom smiled, kneeling before her once more. "What a beautiful question. Finding your light is only the beginning. The journey truly begins when you offer it back to the world." A low hum of agreement washed over the congregation, hearts resonating with the wisdom. The mysterious woman, sensing their growing resolve, raised her arms slightly, as if to embrace them all. "Believe, dear ones, that your light has power. You are vessels of grace, and the world is thirsty for what you carry. What if your light is the answer to someone else's darkness?" In unison, they leaned closer, their souls ignited by the radiant possibilities. The air hummed with potential, every pulse a reminder of the divine waiting to unfold. "Will you choose to share your light?" she asked, her voice resonating with affirming joy. What possibilities await when we let our lights shine brightly together? The room held its breath, suspended in the divine mystery that still loomed ahead. As Pastor Tom surveyed the eager faces, bound with determination, he sensed the magnitude of what they had begun, a pilgrimage into the depths of their shared existence. What revelations would emerge from these? Profound questions? What hidden lights were waiting to be unveiled? As the light cascaded through the chapel's stained glass, the collective heartbeat of the congregation shifted from anxious anticipation to a rising symphony of hope. Pastor Tom, inspired by the stories shared, sensed a divine urgency to guide them deeper. "This is our moment, friends," he declared, his voice ringing with fervor. "We are not just gathering, we are becoming a family bound by faith." Their reverent silence embraced his words, holding them like a tangible gift. The mysterious woman's eyes sparkled with divine promise as she encouraged, "Let the love that flows among us be the spark of transformation. For it is through sharing, through opening our hearts and allowing the light to shine forth, that miracles abound." A wave of courage surged through the room. They gathered close, breathing in unity, the air lively with revelations that were yet to be born. "We have talked about our scars," Pastor Tom began, stepping closer to the altar, "but what if we now focused on our strengths? What has God equipped you with? Where have you seen His hand at work?" The invitation hung in the air like a sacred song, and one by one, voices began to rise, weaving stories of strength and resilience. An elder gentleman spoke of the gift of comfort he had found in sharing his experiences with grieving families. "In my own pain, I discovered I could extend a hand to others," he shared, warmth emanating from his soul. "And I found trust in simple acts of kindness," a young woman added, her eyes gleaming with passion. "Volunteering at the shelter revealed to me that when we give, we truly receive." Laughter bubbled amid their honesty, the energy in the chapel lifting like incense wafting to heaven. Their stories interlinked, each thread strengthening the tapestry of connection around them. As the woman gazed upon them with love, she declared, "You are all being called to be more than bearers of light. You are to be conduits of hope, and together you will transform the world around you." In that moment, a child's voice broke through the excitement. "What if we forget? What if our lights dim?" Pastor Tom knelt again, embracing the youthful spirit. "Ah, sweetheart, our lights can flicker, yes, but just like candles, they can be reignited." He glanced towards the mysterious woman, who nodded solemnly. "It's okay to remind each other when the world tries to dim your shine. Friends, every light has the potential to start a fire." As he spoke, he saw a beautiful animation in the congregation's faces, a collective flicker of realization, an understanding that they were not alone in their journey. The young woman who worried of her worth found assurance. "Then together, we can fan the flames of our lights. We can remind one another." The atmosphere grew electric, voices harmonizing into a rapturous proclamation of faith. "Together, we will not simply shine. We will illuminate." "Yes," Pastor Tom cheered, feeling an overflow of hope surge through him. "Let us turn this chapel into a beacon. Let us create opportunities to share our gifts." With hearts alight, they formed circles of connection, discussing plans to support the vulnerable, to reach out into the village and beyond with their newfound ardor. "We'll start a community project," a teenager suggested, eyes wide with excitement. "Invite everyone to share not only in our stories but our blessings." Pastor Tom clasped his hands together. "Yes, this will be our celebration of faith, our commitment to serve, to witness God's work in us and through us." As they brainstormed, the mysterious woman stepped back, allowing their creative energy to flourish. The light around them twinkled like stars, creating an atmosphere of jubilant anticipation. Then, without warning, a hush washed over the room. The light flickered, and time felt suspended. "I feel something important is in motion," Pastor Tom said, glancing around the circle. "Something is about to unfold for us." Suddenly, small gusts of wind swept through the chapel, dancing about as if the spirit had awakened. And at that moment, a collective breath held the congregation in rapture. "Trust in this incredible journey," the mysterious woman declared, her voice echoing like a prophecy, and trust in the depth of your collective spirit. Each step forward will reveal the fullness of God's promise for you. As her words settled deeply within, Pastor Tom saw tears cascade down familiar faces, not merely from sorrow but from the joy of realization. They were embarking on something divine. They were shedding their light into the world, both together and uniquely. Let us embrace each day we have left in this 40-day journey, Pastor Tom proclaimed. With faith as our compass, we shall glorify his name. With every agreement, every nod, hearts resonated in a single accord. They would persist together, transforming pain into purpose, shadows into light. They were becoming something not just greater, but profoundly holy, a united family walking on sacred ground. As the candles flickered softly, a dynamic energy remained, forging ahead into new horizons. Together, they would witness the miracles yet to come, a testament to their shared faith. Pastor Tom raised his hands, a surge of joy radiating through him. Let us pray. Pray that our lights shine brightly and abundantly, guiding us into an indescribable future of hope. As they bowed their heads in prayer, a feeling of peace enveloped the chapel, a sweetness lingering like the promise of blooming flowers. In that moment, they knew with certainty that they had embarked on a journey that would carry them beyond the narrative of mere redemption to a legacy of faith, a beautiful dance of love. Remember now, as the light of each shared story grew stronger, to subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive faith stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Your support is crucial. Comment your reactions and testimonies about the ending. Your insights matter. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this manifestation of hope. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait even one more second to share. Only true servants of God understand the importance of standing united in faith.